Welcome back to Cooking with Glenn and Katie.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today we'll be making pita bread.
Pita bread was one of my mom's, Robin's, favorite breads. She loved going to a local Greek restaurant called Shomar's and enjoying pita bread filled with lamb in a gyro, as well as going every year to the Charlotte annual Greek festival and enjoying everything about Greek culture, Greek food, including the pita bread. So every year on St. Patrick's Day, our family gets together to celebrate Mom and remember her. So why not go ahead and take today and make one of her favorite breads, pita bread. Dad has a fantastic recipe and we cannot wait to share it with you. So, you ready to get started?
Yeah. The first thing I'm going to do is proof the yeast. And to do that, I have 1 1/3 cups of water. I'll put this in the mixing bowl. And then to that, I'm going to add 5 teaspoons of sugar. And then I'll put the yeast in. And you can put 1 pack of the rapid rise yeast, but I get in bulk. I make a lot of bread, and so I use a little bit less than a tablespoon of yeast. I'm gonna put that in here, sprinkle that on the top, and now I'm gonna whisk it all together, and I'll let it sit for 10 minutes. You need to be very particular how you treat your pita. The first thing is that you don't need to overcook it. Look at this one. I thought it looked so nice to be brown, and I let it stay in there. But then when you try to break it up or try to make it into a pita, when you do that, look what happens. It cracks all up. So you want the pita bread to be very soft. Here's 2 halves of pitas, and you can see that it's the pockets here. It's not cracking or anything, and so you want to make sure that you don't leave it in the oven too long. And then when you bring it out of the oven, you want to cover it, and then finally you'll want to put it in a plastic bag, and it will last for 3 to 5 days like this. You leave your fresh pita on the counter. Don't put it in the refrigerator because it will dry out. If you're going to need the pita after 3 or 4 days and you want to preserve it so you can just pull it out and use it, you want to put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in your freezer. See the yeast? It's got a lot of foam on there. So I know that if anything happens to this recipe, it's not the yeast's fault. I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of oil. It can be any kind of oil. This is canola oil. Next, I'm going to put in 3 1/2 cups of bread flour. You can use all-purpose flour, but I like bread flour. I'm going to put in 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. And now I'm going to mix this together. I'll start this on low until things have started to mix in together, and in about 30 seconds to a minute I'll turn it on the next higher level speed, and I will set it for 8 minutes. The dough has been kneading for 8 minutes. And let's look. I don't think I even need to add anything. Oh, this is perfect. I'm gonna shape it. I'm gonna make it about 12 inches long and about 4 inches wide. The dough is shaped. It is 12 inches, about 12 inches long. And it's a little over 4, it's about 4 1/2 inches wide. Basically what I want to do is I want to cut this into 2-inch sections. So I'm using my pizza cutter, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it off at the 6 inch right here. I'll go right across here and cut that. Now I'm going to cut it into 2-inch strips. I've got 6 pieces here and I need 12, so I'm just going to cut it right down the center. So now I've got 12 pieces of dough. Now I'm going to shape the 12 pieces into 12 balls. So I just take it and I kind of tuck it in like this. And that would be the first one. So again, I take it and I kind of tuck it under, pull it under, and then I just want it to be kind of a round shape on the top. I place it right here. And I'll do that for all 12 of them. I like to be able to predict how long the rise is going to be. So I put the bread in the oven. It's wintertime here and it's not constant. It's about 68 degrees in the house. So I'm going to turn my oven on bake for 350 degrees for about 1 minute. And during that time, I'm going to take a dampened towel and I'm going to microwave it for 30 seconds. The towel is warm, so I'm going to take it out of the microwave. And I'm going to lay it on top of the dough here. I've got 12 balls of dough. I'm going to lay it on here. I'm going to turn the bake off. I'm going to turn the oven light on. I'm going to place this in the oven for 20 minutes. The dough has finished its first rise, so let's look at it. It's about doubled in size, and now I'm going to be working with each piece of dough, but I'm going to keep it covered so it will stay moist. You'll be using flour. I like my little flour container because I can just sprinkle it where I want it to be. So I'm going to sprinkle the surface. And I've got that. I sprinkle the bottom and now I'm going to do the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press it down, kind of in a round shape. I like to do that to begin with. I'll flip it over. And you see it's in a rounded shape. And I need to roll this to about 6 inches in diameter. So I always start in the middle and then go out to the side like that. And I'm careful that it doesn't bunch up so it stays smooth. So let me do this again. Turn it around and do it like this. You can always stretch it. If it's not a round shape, you can always shape it up and start rolling again. It doesn't have to be round. I'm going to try to keep it as round as I can, but it doesn't matter if it's oblong, but you want it to be about 6 inches around. So I'm going to measure this, see how it is. Got my ruler. You can kind of estimate. Yeah, that's 6.5, so you want it 6.5 to 7 inches. Okay, here's the first one. It's about 6 inches. You want it to be 1/8, but no more than 1/4 inch thick. So that's it. I'm gonna lay it down here, and feel free to stretch it out to make it as round as you can. And I'll cover that, and I'll let these sit until I get all 12 made, and then we'll start cooking them. I've rolled out all 12 pitas, and let's look at them. These are the ones I did first. And so when I cook them, I'll start on this side here. And I know that these have risen for the longest amount of time. But look at these. Look how nice they look. They're not exactly all round. They're about 6 to 7 inches in diameter. Now it's time to bake the pita, but let me show you what you can use in your oven. I've got a baking stone, but you can also use the bottom of a cooking sheet. So let's look. This is my cooking stone, and so I'll put the pita on top of it. But if you don't have a cooking stone, you can use the back of a pan and put it on it. But the main thing is that both of these have to be in the oven while the oven is preheating. You want the stones and the pans to be very, very hot. The oven's preheated. Now it's time to put the pita dough on the cooking stone. So I open the oven, pull this out, and you don't want to crowd these. I'm going to put 2 on here, one right here, and one right here. I'm going to close this and set the timer for 3 minutes. It's been 3 minutes, so let's take the pita bread out. I'm going to put it on the cooling rack. Now I'm going to use a pan so you can see how it will work too. So I turned the pan upside down, and it's been heating, so it's very, very hot. And you turn it upside down so that you don't have to worry. You can put more on it. You put one here. Put one here. And I can put one more right here. So we'll set it for 3 minutes. You can cook pita bread in 450 degrees, 500 degrees, 550 degrees, and so you have to adjust the time a little bit, but I'm cooking it at 500 degrees. And let's see what this looks like. This came out of the pan. You can see they all puffed up. Now I'm going to take them off. I'm going to put them on a cooling rack. Use a spatula here. I'll put them in the basket here because you want them to stay warm and moist. You don't want them to dry out. So I'm going to close this, and we can push them down later. We finished cooking the dozen pita, and we're batting 1,000 because every one of them puffed up like a balloon. Let's look at them. See how pretty they are? And you can just kind of gently push them together. It's got a little bit of air in it. And I'm going to put these in this basket here. This basket is perfect to sit at the table. But if we don't eat all these, and we won't, it's just the 2 of us, I'll be taking these out of here and placing them in a plastic bag right after the meal so that they will stay moist. You don't want them to dry out, and leave them on your counter. Don't put them in the refrigerator, and they should last for 3 or 4 days. And if you need them to last longer, you need to put them in the freezer. Now, I'm going to cut one of these, cut them in half. And look at that, the perfect pocket.
To fill our pita bread, we have a wide variety of ingredients, and as my dad always says, it's always worth the extra effort to make sure to have a wide variety of ingredients that are displayed well for when you are hosting. So I'm going to show you what we have. For some examples, we have over here regular onions and green onions, garlic shrimp and avocado, a blend of peppers and cilantro, Asian slaw that my dad made, bacon bits and mushrooms, cheddar cheese and chicken. And then finally, what pita would be completely ready to go without some tzatziki sauce? Now, what we want you to notice is all the green, from the green onions to the avocados to the cilantro and the coleslaw. We are celebrating St. Patrick's Day, so you gotta be sure to bring that color in. I have just stuffed my pita. I decided to go more on the vegetarian route because I love all these amazing vegetables that Dad prepared for us. So let me go ahead and give it a taste. Beautiful. That is amazing. So fresh. The pita bread is perfect. It tastes just like pita bread I would get at a Greek restaurant. It's light, it's airy, but it holds up well with all these ingredients inside of it. It's very sturdy. It has an excellent flavor. I love this. It's perfect for sandwiches or anything you want to make with it. So definitely give this recipe a shot. It's fantastic.
I made my favorite pita combination. It's got shrimp on the bottom with the tzatziki sauce and all the vegetables. And I even thought St. Patrick's Day, I put all the green stuff on top. Let me taste it. It's delicious. The bread is perfect. It's soft. It's moist. It's just perfect. It's a great recipe and it turned out excellent.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're interested in making the recipe, check the description box below. We actually have a link so you can see the whole recipe laid out for you. Super simple to follow. And if you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you're notified when all of our new videos are posted. And if you enjoyed, please be sure to give us a thumbs up. Comment below. We love to hear your feedback. And we will see you with our next video. See ya!